find the perimeter of the triangle. So we're going to label these points -4, -1. Remember, when labeling points, our x-coordinate goes first, our y-coordinate goes second. We have the point 3, 6. And the point 8, 0. We need to find the perimeter. So we need to find the distance between each point. And unfortunately, none of them are easy enough that we can just count. It's -4, so we go 4 to the left, and then +1 would go up 1. Are you okay if I label these points A, B, and C? I'm going to label this one A, this one B, and this one C. So if I pick one of them to find first, I want to find from A to B first. I need to find the distance from -4, 1 to 3, 6. Yeah. It doesn't matter which one's A. I'm just labeling them so that when I show my work, it becomes clear. Because one of the things we want to do when we're doing our math is we want to be as clear as possible. And especially when using formulas, it's really easy to accidentally plug the wrong number into a formula, and then all of your answers go off. So what I'm trying to do here is be really clear. I need to find the perimeter, so I need to find all the distances between the points. I'm going to find the distance from A to B first, so I rewrote those points so that when I use my formula, I'm going to say, this is my x1, this is my y1, this is my x2, this is my y2. I'm going to rewrite my distance formula out. Of course, you would have this on your formula sheet, but if you memorize it, even better. And by labeling the points I want to find the distance to, and saying above them which is my first point, which is my second point, you have a better chance of not making a silly mistake of plugging something in wrong. So I want to do x2 minus x1. Well, I look at my points, and since they're labeled nicely, it would be 3 minus a -4 squared plus y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is 1, squared. What is 3 minus -4? 7. So we'd have 7 squared plus 6 minus 1, 5 squared. $49 plus 25. And we'll round to 1 decimal place right now. Or did the question say? So we just figured out the distance from A to B to be 8.6. Also helping us solve this question, we want to find the perimeter. It doesn't say to how many decimal places. I'm going to go to my triangle and label that side as 8.6. Because sometimes you get into a question, you're going to find if you don't label things, you get distracted, you might later on solve the same side again. And be like, oh, I did that already, but I just spent another 3 minutes redoing something I've already done. Have you ever done that in an English class? Like you're reading a novel that you really, really like, and you find out that you just read the same paragraph 5 times, and you're like, oh, no. Or you just didn't read the same paragraph, you get to the bottom of the page, and I'm like, I just got to the bottom of the page, and I didn't actually read any of it. And you have to start it again. That never happens. That happens all the time? You're like, oh man, what just happened? Okay. So we found A to B. What do we have left? We have to find B to C. So I'm going to, that's 3, 6 to 8, 0. I'm going to use my distance formula again, but now I have a new first point and a new second point. We've already written out our distance formula, so x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. And we get 5 squared plus negative 6 squared. Notice that I keep that negative in the brackets. When you square a negative, it becomes positive. So we're going to get 25 plus 36, which is the square root of 61. 7.8. So again, I'll go back to my triangle, and now I've figured out this distance to be 7.8. Are you glad they didn't make us do a hexagon? It's a lot of the same thing, right? We're doing the same thing over and over again. It's a little bit tedious, yes. What do we have left to figure out? We still have to figure out from A to C. Our point A was 4, negative 4, 1 to 8, 0. So we have a new x1, y1, a new x2, y2. And it's at this point on these tedious questions, right? You're doing the same thing over and over again. Your patience starts to go a little bit, and you decide to do things faster because you're like, oh, I just want to get this done. What's going to happen? That's when you make your little mental math mistakes. You plug something in wrong because you start thinking about what else you have to do in the day. And then you check your answer with the answer in the back of the textbook, and it's wrong, and then you get mad, right? Because you think, sometimes you don't know when your answer in the back of the book is wrong. Do I really not have a clue what's going on? Or did you just make a simple mistake? Often the case is you just made a simple mistake. So it takes a lot of concentration to be able to do this. Sometimes in a question like this is like preparing you for real life work. Because in real life work, often you have to do things you're not interested in doing a lot, all day. But they still want you to concentrate and be able to do it right and not make mistakes. So maybe that's why you have to study math so much in high school. Okay, x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. 8 minus a negative 4 is 12, plus 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Twelve squared is 144. Negative 1 squared is 1. So we get the square root of 145. To 1 decimal place is 12.0. So if we go back to our triangle and label that, we now have all 3 sides, and your perimeter will be 8.6 plus 7.8 plus 12.0. and your perimeter will be 28.4. Whew. So that was like 3 distance questions combined in one. Would I ever put a question like this on a test? Probably not, because it's really asking you to do the same thing over and over and over again, right? If I want to know if you can do the distance formula, I'll ask a question that just asks for the distance formula once. Or I'll give you a triangle where 2 of the sides you already know the length, and you just have to find the 3rd side. So here is a more typical type of question that could be asked to see if you can apply the distance formula. Find the radius of a circle with center at 10, 4. So if I draw a picture, there's my center, 10, 4. And the circumference, one point on the circumference of this circle is 3, -5. So if you have a really fancy circle drawing tool, you can just do that. There's a picture of what's happening. We've got the center at 10, 4. We've got a point on the circumference of our circle at 3, -5. We want to find the radius. What is a radius of a circle? That's the diameter of the circle. Half the diameter. Oh, I thought you said it is the diameter. No. And how could I draw a radius on the circle here using the information that I'm given? It's going to be that length from that point to that point. And if I want to find the length between those 2 points, can you see that we're going to use our distance formula? You could draw a triangle and do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That would be fine. Anytime you want to do that, that's not wrong. But we want to find the distance from 10, 4 to 3, -5. That will be the radius. x1, y1, x2, y2. Distance formula, x2 minus x1, 3 minus 10, plus y2 minus y1, 3 minus 10, -7 squared. -5 minus 4, -9. Positive 49, positive 81. And if we want to solve that to 1 decimal place, we get 11.4. So the radius is 11.4. Since it was a question that said determine the radius, just so that you can show that you understood what the question was asking, it's nice to write a statement at the end. So we've done our work. We kind of explained it already in showing our work when I said the distance from this point to this point is the radius, and then I solved the answer. So if someone was looking at this and you stopped here, they would give you full marks because you've explained it clearly to begin with what you were looking for. But it's not bad when you solve a question in the end to write out a statement what the radius is. Now the question, right, one of the things I think you guys are, oh, it does say round to 1 decimal place. Good. Okay. One of the things I've been trying to get you to do is when you're done a question, to read it over again. because it might say round to 2 decimal places. And it might have an extra bit of information that they asked you to solve for that you didn't read the first time. When I start working on a question, usually by halfway through, I'm so busy thinking about the math that I'm doing, I've forgotten what the question said altogether by that point. So it is a good strategy to go back, read that question again, make sure that you've solved for everything they want you to, and write your final answer.